I mean, there's no way you can just dislike that portfolio.
It was
That's
it
like
was
a drop
great skills.
portfolio. It's like drop the mic. When you're doing, it looks like he has like a bathroom. It looks like he has like a tub inside of the kitchen. What is that? I'm gonna be honest, I'll completely do your index totally different, like completely different. Like your skills are so tiny. This is absolutely amazing, no?
I would just say whatever you do in life, do sell things as NFTs. Make a lot of money, you deserve it.
It's time to say it's enough.
Hey yo guys, welcome back to BlessedArch, welcome back to the portfolio review series. This is a show where you guys send in your portfolios and I select 3 from them and invite architects from all over the world and together we review your portfolios. Today's guest is MARIANA CABUGUEIRA. She's a senior designer at Zaha Hadid Architects and this is her second episode on the portfolio review series. We have some amazing conversation and advice spread throughout the episode, so I recommend watching it till the end. And now without further wait, let's start the episode. Hey MARIANA, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since you've been here. How have you been?
Hi Rishabh, good to see you again. It's been what, like a year since our last portfolio review or something?
Yeah, more than a year since we did.
More than a year?
Yeah.
It really doesn't feel like so. All good, all good. A lot of work, but all great.
So in that portfolio review episode, I remember, that we shot it in December or start of January. And I put it out in January itself, I think. And I remember, so till date, that portfolio review episode is one of the most watched portfolio review episodes. Like people actually loved it. And it was also because of some amazing advice that you gave during the episode.
That's really good. Let's keep the same level up.
Yeah.
For this time.
So before we dive deep, so let me just quickly tell the viewers the format. If you're new here, let me just quickly tell you the format, what really happens here. So I invite people and the audience all over to send me portfolios for the portfolio review episode. Each episode is a different guest. People send me portfolios and I select 3 of them, share them with my guest, and together we sort of review those portfolios and see if there are things that can be done better, what things were great. We also get advice for portfolios, for interviews, for jobs, for architecture life in general. And that is what we're doing here today with MARIANA. Now, before we jump into our portfolios and actually start looking at them in detail, I remember last time when we started the episode, so you had sort of shared, the very first thing that you had shared was, when you're applying for a job with a portfolio, a lot of time a company is looking for something very specific. And a lot of times you might not get the job because you did not fit into that one specific criteria. And you should not really take it personally because companies don't tell you outright that, this is what we're looking for exactly.
I was really going to start with exactly the same. Like I was going to start by reiterating what we said on our last episode. So don't forget that it's a really hard job to be giving portfolios and to basically resume our 5 years or 4 years of education in one PDF. It's really a hard job, and then we apply and then sometimes we don't even get an answer and we feel really bad. And this is actually a cause for depression. So just remember that what's behind is not your qualities. Like they were looking for something specific as softwares, or as specific as your experience on doing housing, so please understand that rejection in architecture does not mean that you have a less quality as an architect. That's really important. And I think the second thing that we said last time that is also very important is that me and Rishabh are really on the same level as you, just side by side, giving you advices from experience, saying change this, change that, being super practical. Exactly what companies should do when they get your portfolio. They should say, no, hired because you're gonna do exactly that. Okay, so it's gonna be same level with no little hierarchies. Okay, so it's just advices.
Yeah, exactly. Before we dive in, I actually want to start with a question today. And and if you could share a little bit of your personal journey while you are answering this as well, is portfolios versus interviews, the balance, the importance, what are the scales of these two, like when we talk about it?
I mean, it's hard because the portfolios these days are like digital PDFs. So they should obviously call attention and they should obviously be good enough for you to be called for an interview. But I would say that when you are interviewed and they ask you to bring your portfolio, the interviewer is most likely to see how you are as a person because they have seen the portfolio already. So the interview is a bit more personal, is a bit more on your character, on your personality. And so when you're doing your interview, be prepared not just to explain the project, but to understand that you are being evaluated personality-wise. Okay, so I think interviews are a little bit more on the personality side than the content of your portfolio.
So I mean, yeah. So what you're saying is, when they're looking at your portfolios, they'll be looking at your skills, they'll be looking at your work. But in the interviews, they want to know the person behind all of that work.
They know exactly.
All right, perfect. And with that note, let's start and dive right into our first portfolio for the day. Now, before we go into our first portfolio, I quickly just wanted to tell you two things. First is that I take a portfolio masterclass that covers everything about portfolios. From the sizing of folios to compositions to colors, what projects to choose, how many projects to choose. There are a lot of questions that go through people's head and I answer all of them in this masterclass. You can either attend it live or get a pre-recorded version. For more details, you can go to the description below. And secondly, I wanted to thank all the channel members and the patrons, without whom these videos would not have been possible. If you like what I do here and want to support this channel, you can consider doing so via Patreon or channel memberships. Again, the details for both of these are in the description below. And now let's go to our first portfolio. Could you please pronounce his name again? I forgot the pronunciation.
Because you know what is really funny? You picked a Portuguese person.
Yeah, I know you know. Yeah, because I know because of the surname, which is Vas Santos. I don't know if that's the surname.
But that's not why you picked him, right?
No. Yeah.
You picked him because he's good. Gonçalo Santos. So let's start with Gonçalo.
All right, perfect. So before we dive into the portfolio and look at the various aspects of it, we'll again do so how we do it on the portfolio review series is we first go through the entire portfolio very quickly and just talk about like first glimpses from the portfolio, and then we later go page by page and dive deeper. So let's quickly first talk about first impressions when you're going through the portfolio.
So overall impressions of Gonçalo's portfolio. Like obviously you picked 3 portfolios from how many portfolios?
I had gotten this time, I think 350 or 400.
400?
Yeah, there were loads for this episode.
You got 400 portfolios.
And I was going through each and every one. It took me days.
Oh my God, that's not even Zaha level.
It was loads.
Okay, so obviously the portfolio is really good. That's why Rishabh, within 400 people, he picked 3. So it's obvious that it's a very good portfolio. That was his criteria to begin with. And then I think what strikes me the most from this portfolio, so I flip it through. To be honest, I didn't spend a super long time. I spent exactly the same amount of time that someone who is hiring spends when they are flipping through portfolios. And I'm looking at the cover right now and I'm kind of remembering the content. And what strikes me the most and what I have kept in my memory is this very cool analogic and digital kind of contrast that you have. Also on one side, you have your hand drawings, and then on the other side, you have your digital skills. And this is really cool because it's very different. And it's not just that, it's funny that that's what's kept in my memory. So it means that it's memorable. And that might be your trademark. So I would definitely keep that. And it's very well structured. So I don't have like drawings here and there and then like in different pages. The drawings are always on the right page. And then the digital is on the left. And that's what I retain from this portfolio the most.
Yeah, it's like a mixture of a sketchbook and your final portfolio or your final work. So you sort of, it feels, like you're seeing like peeking into the sketchbook of an architectural student while you're going through the portfolio as well.
But there's one thing that I have to say also right in the beginning, you have to pick a language. And I would pick English because you're mixing Portuguese with English. And then like, there's a very high chance that you might want to apply to a foreign company because you have a really good quality and you should apply to a foreign company. Don't stay just within your country borders. So I would change your portfolio completely to English, totally. So no Portuguese words unless they really mean something, which is, I think you have one, apatia. I would keep apatia and then all the rest, move it to Portuguese, to English.
Yeah, that is like, I could not read anything. I could like make up a little bit of what it would mean. But yeah, like if you're especially applying to companies, abroad, it's better to sort of, because majority people speak English all over the world. Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's come to the cover page. Let's dive in. Let's first talk about the cover page. So what are your thoughts here?
Okay, thoughts on the cover page. It's good that all your portfolio is done in landscape, but your cover is still on portraits. Don't forget, it's very unlikely that you are printing your portfolio, so make sure that your cover page covers my whole screen. So your cover page should also be landscape, okay? It's vertical now as if it was a magazine, but I really recommend you to give me full impression when I open your portfolio. So a landscape cover for digital version of your portfolio is definitely the best one. So I'll change for that. Apart from that, I would definitely take it out where you say future internship, that you are kind of applying for an internship. You're saying your name, Gonçalo Santos, and then under it says future internship. And let me tell you, your portfolio has a lot of great qualities. And it does not look like an internship kind of portfolio. So I will take that out. Also because in English, it means something else, internship, okay? People, internship here, it's like when you're 21 or 20 something. And in Portugal, it doesn't mean that. In Portugal, we are like 24, 6 when we do internship. So take that out, okay? You are applying as an architect. That definitely out.
That's actually some great advice. You know, over time, and I just want your take on it. Over time, looking at all the portfolios that I do for the channel and going through so many portfolios on so many portfolio reviews, I've come to realize, like, me personally, nowadays, I don't look at cover pages much because I don't think they are that important. Like it's nice if the cover is nice, but I don't feel like I would ever just reject a portfolio or not look at it. Yeah. And like, contrary to the thing that, people judging the book by the cover, I think in portfolios that might not be the case because would want to go in. Like a lot of people stress a lot upon the cover, but it's not as important.
Yeah, I agree.
Having said that, I like it. It's nicely graphically made. I really like the concept of this sketchbook kind of thing, or like a book kind of thing happening throughout the portfolio as well. A lot of people are not able to do it as well. Like there are always some limitations that come in as you go ahead, but you've been able to manage it throughout the portfolio. So that I really like. All right. So coming into the CV and the index page, of course, I can't read anything personally. I know you can. So I can't talk about the content as much, but I think graphically it looks nice because, with CVs, you just need to be minimal. You need to specifically tell people what they need to know, not make a fuss with everything. And I think it looks like that, like it's minimal.
And it looks super clean. And it's funny because it does look like a book.
Yeah.
Can you see the effect, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like a real landscape page. It's an actual, looks like a book, which is like a very nice thing to, like nice details. What I would change is where you have your language skills. That's very good and informative, but I would definitely, instead of doing that for languages, do that for softwares. So where you have like your softwares, move them to exactly the same graphics expressions that you have for your linguistic levels. So I know exactly how proficient you are at AutoCAD or Photoshop or InDesign or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the more important metrics.
Yeah.
Anything about the index, I think it's super clean. It's just like a book. it is just how sort of indexes should be like precise to the point, and not it's not like I remember some indexes that I've seen people put in a lot just in the index page or try to put in the CV page, which you don't really need to.
Completely agree.
All right, so coming to the first project, which, how do you pronounce this?
Apatia. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
which means numb. It means being numb. So numbness. When you're numb. Yeah.
Okay. So it adds another level of nuance to the project.
It adds a lot of not emotions. Yeah, let's stick with emotions. It does add a lot of like emotional charge to the project.
Should you like name projects like that? Do you like to name projects like that, like more abstract ways?
I don't know. In this case, it actually hit me because it's like it's a very particular feeling numb, and in this case, he's like saying feeling numb towards too much information. So your first reaction is to feel numb, and that's nice. I think that's like it shows me that I don't know, you have feelings, you know, like you actually thought about this, and that's good. I'll keep it, but I'll change everything to English.
Yeah, I mean, it, like, personally, if somebody looking from outside of Portugal, I would have completely missed the title. Like, I love the render. I love, like, this page in itself looks amazing.
I agree.
And makes me intrigued to see the project. Like, I love how the render has come out. But again, I did understand the title.
Yeah, but then, like, if you change pages, like, it starts with how to grow your O. Number. And then it moves to Portuguese. So it's like this mix.
How to grow your no. Is it no or number?
I'm not sure if it's no or number. That's why I said an O.
Maybe it's more philosophical in saying how to grow your no. Like, how do you say no to people?
That's nice. But see, like, and then you have all of this text, and the text in Portuguese is a very good one. Like, extremely strong. Like, it's time to say, there's a part that says, it's time to say it's enough. And like, the text is really good. So I think you should make it international. Yeah.
And also, I mean, there are a few sketches, there are a few diagrams, but at least on the starting page, it's the right hand side, it's much more text heavy than it is graphical. Again, yes, that language barrier also comes into place, because me, as somebody who does understand graphics, but particularly not the language, for me, the graphics here are much smaller. I understand that it does go into the book format that he has made, because that is how books are. You have a few pages with a lot of text. And then you have more pages with like more sketches, more graphics.
I know. But you know what, like, I feel comfortable with this page, because I would be the first one saying this is too much text, but I feel very comfortable with the page because of what it said. The things that are in bold are actually very strong. So if you could understand it, you would pay as much attention as it was like a graphic thing. It's a very strong statement. So I think I would keep it. But there's one thing here that it's like super valuable, and I hope that everyone follows this, and it should be like a recipe for all portfolios all over the world. You're starting with a very obvious expression of which softwares you used. That's amazing. And you're putting the icons in big. So that's perfect. So I'm going to start your project, and I know exactly that you use Photoshop, InDesign, AutoCAD, and SketchUp.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Like, everyone should do this.
Yeah, this, I think we discussed it in the second episode also, and we've discussed this.
Maybe he saw it,
Yeah, I've also discussed it with more people who say that, you know, when you're especially introducing your project, you should also talk about one important factor. I think we talked about last time also, whether it's a group project or not. And the second one was whether what softwares are used within that particular project.
Completely. Because like more than before in an office, people are looking for someone who's specialized in a specific software, because we are running so many softwares that most likely this hiring opportunity includes a specific software. So if you're telling me which software you're using, that's very helpful.
True. Yeah. So, on that fact about software, I remember because this was in one of the episodes, we really liked the portfolio and we sort of reached out, and, me and the guys thought that, the portfolio was very Zaha in the way it was made. So we sort of reached out to you, if that person can, get a job at Zaha or an internship, and if you would like the portfolio, and you'd actually, I think you like the portfolio as well, right?
Yeah, I love the portfolio. I mean, there's no way you can just dislike that portfolio.
Yeah, it was a great skills.
Yeah, it's like drop the mic completely.
So that was an amazing portfolio, and that person did actually finally get an interview at the office, but ultimately, at this point of time, that person wasn't able to secure a job because they were looking for Maya in specifically Maya. Yeah, and it goes to show, like, what we started the video with is, companies at particular times might be looking for very particular set of skills.
Exactly. But if he was applying to another cluster and the cluster that uses sub-D Rhino, because he does Rhino sub-D, he would get hired 100%. But he was getting hired by another cluster that uses Maya mostly. Yeah. Can you imagine? And this was like by far one of the best portfolios I've seen.
Yeah, it was actually incredible. But it goes to show, like, of course, I think it was also a matter of chance that, he wasn't able to apply to a different cluster. But
I know.
Yeah, and he might in the future though.
And I knew it. Like, I knew I'm gonna give it to this cluster because the cluster was looking for people. And I had the feeling like this is not gonna go because this guy doesn't do Maya, this guy does Rhino, and then
yeah, it would have been incredible. Like, hopefully in the future he does.
I'm pretty sure he will. I mean, I still have his portfolio, so
yeah,
it's just a matter of keep sending it to other clusters.
True. All right. So coming to the next page of this project, where we see certain inspirations on the left hand side, and we see certain sketches on the right hand side.
Yeah,
I personally like it. It's much more process based. Tells me his jumping off points for the project.
Okay, but can I tell you something, Gonzalo? This is a bit scary for first page. And I mean, it's scary in a way that you're taking the capsules concept, and then you're literally taking a capsule and leaving it like isolated in space. And due to recent events that the capsule tower was completely demolished.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, where are you going? And then you see a toilet, and then you see panic room, and you're like, where are you going with this? So it's like a page that is, giving me a bit of like unstable feelings.
But I mean, maybe that is why this is there.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
But I think completely, like, we don't know when this guy made the portfolio, because the news of the demolition came in like February this year.
True.
Even though there were rumors, final thing came in like February or January, something like that.
I mean, but what is really good is that he's giving me a contrast of the next page that is completely different. Right? It's like, I took the idea of the capsules, but this is green. It's made out of, I don't know if this is cork or if this is wood. So it's and it has like this warmer feeling. So you're like, okay, you're not crazy.
But so one thing is, I know it's a capsule. I don't know whether we were looking for plans or maybe sections. We have a few of those on the very first page. They're like, this is not a typical architectural project in the sense how it's shown.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can fault him in any place, because I do understand the project. I do understand the scale of the project with the diagrams that he has prepared as well. And there is not as much detailing that is required within the project for him to sort of put a lot more stuff.
Very true.
There isn't as many architectural drawings how we generally create them. And it's more abstract in how it's made.
It is abstract, but I think he's giving us a statement here with his project. He's just saying like there's a lot of information. There is this tendency of people to kind of being more private when you have too much interaction outside. So he created the capsules and the containers.
Yeah.
Still scary and debatable, but I think it's interesting to be a statement to give a bit of your personality. So I would keep it.
True. All right. So coming to the next project, which is the motion house.
Motion house.
Yeah. I would just say I don't like this render as much as I did the first one.
No, I like the render.
I know. The first one, it was beautifully post-produced in terms of colors and everything as well. Here, this
I'm
to
very
me,
happy with this render. I would probably add like human scale to it, like people.
This to me, I don't know why. Maybe this is just me personally. This just reminds me of Lumen, and I don't have as many great memories of using it in college. So maybe it's personal.
Yes, it's a personal thing. I'm very okay. I really like that you took like the full page thing.
Yeah.
This is exactly how portfolios should go. I think you watch our episode.
Yeah. This is something that you really and this I tell
emphasized.
People. Yeah. This I tell people a lot because I love that advice. Just taking the space to appreciate the project. Like give me that space.
And he did exactly what we said on the first episode, which is exactly how portfolios should go. Give me your best render, the name, and then keywords. That's exactly what he did with all projects. And because he's so organized with that, you kind of understand the rhythm of when you're changing projects from one to the other one. Yeah. So Motion House, I really like the plan. So if you go to the plan page, I think the plan is so cool that I would probably even do the landscape format just for the plan. Because, maybe it's just me, or I think all architects are obsessed with plans. Yeah. As if it was like a game, right? Because we are so used to do plans and to organize things like Tetris and all that. So it will be super fun for all architects and everyone who's watching your portfolio to actually follow your plan and to see what you're thinking when you're doing it looks like it has like a bathroom. It looks like it has like a tub inside of the kitchen. What is that? Can you see the kitchen?
Yeah.
It looks like it has a tub in there. Imagine. That'd be super cool.
I think so, yes.
I'm not sure if it is, but I would definitely do it in a single landscape page.
Or maybe that's not the kitchen and the bathroom just has two sinks. I don't know.
I think that's like a mega bathroom.
Maybe. Like a really big one. Because there's like plants inside. So like you wouldn't keep that much space in a kitchen.
Yeah, I can see where the kitchen is. It's not the kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, you see, like you kind of struggle to see it because it's so tiny. Make it bigger.
But I think overall, graphically, this page looks really nice. I also love the title a lot. If the house fails to proceed.
And it's like an attractive page, right?
Yeah, for sure. He's done this in the book format and how you really, if this were a book, like a physical book in my hand, I would love to be just scrolling through it, just looking at each and every diagram if it were in my hand.
It's really funny how he actually has this book template behind, so it looks like you are opening a book, although you're still like very, very digital, looking at the portfolio as a PDF. But he's giving you the book feel. And it's actually very Portuguese nostalgia thing. So you're still like stick to the books, although this is a portfolio, and I think that's very unique.
And then in the pages forward again, I think it's the same format. We see certain ideas that inspired him, and then he proceeds to show us his thought process.
Yeah, it's really cool that he keeps these sketches on the right.
Yeah. My sketchbooks, by the way, didn't look like this. I just wrote a lot. So I love when people actually sketch things out.
But you know, this is a very Portuguese kind of sketchbook.
Ah,
I think most of my sketchbooks, we are very like instigated into drawing and like sketching.
yeah.
How cool is this project from Sufujimoto? Le Cube.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Yeah, me too. It's a very cool project. But on the next project, like you're finishing a project that is completely black and white. And he gives us like this amazing knowledge on the details, which is really good, construction details.
Yeah.
But I would probably put this project in the middle of the portfolio because you're giving me a very dead end. You know what I mean? Like all the portfolio is very colorful. Like you're showing me a lot of peace and colors and like this harmony. And then we finish in black and white, you know? And it's like, it kind of kills the momentum. So I would probably take this project and change, shuffle a little bit the order, even if it's like chronological or whatever.
Yeah.
I would put the last project somewhere in the middle.
Ah.
So you finish with something that gives me a bit more color.
Yeah, I think this is something a lot of people also think about is, you know, when you're thinking about placing the projects, I usually tell people to put their best project first. Like that is
I do the same.
Yeah.
I do the same.
But then I think then automatically means whichever is your least attractive project, you put it last.
Yeah, that's the problem. I usually say like the best one first, and then the last one as strong as the first one or a little bit less strong, but
so like
and
the
then
second
everything
best.
happens in the middle.
So like finish strong.
Finish
that would
strong
be
every time.
Because
every time we close a portfolio, we have at least 1 second. Whomever is looking at a portfolio has at least 1 second to kind of like put in order or on how you felt about the portfolio, right? It's like the final momentum. So I am thinking about your portfolio, I'm thinking about you, and this is your last page, and I'm like, how did I feel? In a second, I think, how did I feel? And if you're giving me this black and white, then I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling as excited as I was in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So I will definitely shift it just for this emotional kind of control of your portfolio.
All right, so we've come and then we have the final end page, which is similar to how his cover page was. All right, so your overall advice for this portfolio, what would it be?
Overall advice is have a lot of quality to probably work in a firm that is not just like bounded to your country. So that means I would shift your portfolio totally to English so people could understand what you're saying. Also because you have a lot of arguments here, verbal arguments. So I'll definitely change it to English. I will do this change of project. So I'll put this project in the middle, the last one in the middle, and then cover and the last page, I'll make them landscape as well. So I get like my first feeling to it is completely overwhelmed by your cover or by your finish page. Totally landscape. And what can I say apart from that, just take the plan from the little houses that are like hanging on the sticks. I'll take the plan and put it on a single page.
Yeah.
And then all the rest, like I really like the project. Like it shows me it's very good that you have these construction details, by the way. It's showing me that you can understand the project from beginning to end. So yeah, it's a very good project. It's a very good portfolio, right? I mean,
yeah, for sure. I would just say, although I would just disagree at one point is the cover and the end. I personally like it the way it is. I feel like it finishes the book thing, because if he puts it in a landscape format, it would either, if he continues with the book thing, it'll feel like a chapter in the book.
You think so?
Yeah, like if because I mean that is how books open. Like you don't really open it from like it's always. So for me, that is why it sort of felt like a proper start and a finish. All right. Before we go into our second portfolio of the day, we had some questions that people had sent us. So let's quickly go through one of them. Okay, this is a question I also had, Mariana. How do you have like vacations and time for hobbies when you're working in the office? How do you like talk about your time management a bit? Because I know you work a lot, you have these courses, you have classes, you're working in a full-time office, and then you take these amazing vacations as well. So how is that happening? What is your secret to time management?
Okay, first of all, don't forget that you're looking at Instagram. So
True.
you're looking at this tiny portion that I give of my life. And let me tell you, on one side, I have people saying that I do a lot, like you are saying, and then I do a lot of other stuff besides work. And then on the other side, I have some friends who actually say that I'm boring and I don't do anything, and that I'm always working. So I have this like this little both. I think, to be honest, both are correct. I do work a lot, and my friends are correct. I do work too much, it's true. And I also do enjoy like a lot of like traveling, and I don't know what else do I do, and probably traveling. So I do both. The thing is, when I do them, I am completely and 100% into what I'm doing. There's no dead procrastination. There's no dead times. If I am traveling, I am taking as much as I can from the travel. I plan my travels to the last detail, so I can cover everything from a city or everything from a culture. So I'm a bit, let's say, intense when I'm doing whatever I'm doing. So when I'm working, I'm very intense when I'm working. I work a lot of hours. When I'm not working, I'm also very intense on not working. So there's never like this dead time of time that is not productive on anything, or time that is not giving me anything, or it's just like, I don't know, putting me down, or just like putting me up. Like I'm just, whatever I'm doing, I'm doing it with passion and with intensity. So apart from that, of course, I do a lot of time management, because when I'm compromised on something, when I compromise something with people, or like, I feel this, I do them till the end. So if I have a contract with this person, I'll deliver. And if I tell this person that I'm going to do a collab, I will also deliver. And so I just make sure that all of my time is completely on point task-wise. So I know that today I'm going to do this, tomorrow I'm going to do this, the day after that I'm going to do this. Like, for example, I'm going to show you like one page of my sketchbook. It's not going to be like an amazing sketchbook like Gonzalo's. Just so you understand, my sketchbooks are basically my tasks for every day. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I know exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm putting like the basic stupid tasks. Like today, I'm going to extrude windows, extrude a roof, do a master plan. And then I have these tiny tasks that I'm just ticking off.
Yeah.
Whenever it's time for me to like completely be off and travel, I'm like, done, I'm traveling. So it's basically just that. This is like, we are trapped in this procrastination, and we just don't figure out that we are trapped in them. And I'm just telling you, just turn down your procrastination and make it something useful, like productive in whatever it is, even in going out. So when I go out, I really go out, you know, it's not just like for a little zip of a little, no, I really go out.
Yeah.
So whatever I'm doing, I'm just making it intense, like worth remembering.
For your schedule thing, I would just like to share with everybody. I remember when we shot the award-winning episode, the Hyperloop one. I think you were on a vacation at that time. And
I was on a vacation.
Yeah, you sort of scheduled that in, because again, we had to make schedules work in 4 different time zones around the world. But I remember like you scheduled it in within your vacation.
I know.
Which shows like you do then plan things.
I do.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive into our next portfolio for the day. And that is Sahar's portfolio.
So before we start, can I say something that is very important? Just because we are opening an issuu link.
Yeah.
Okay. I have received a lot of portfolios to give, most of them to send it to Zaha. And I'm gonna have to ask everyone to never send a link to an issuu. Ever send a link to an internet page. Send me a PDF. And don't send me 3 PDFs, don't send me 4 PDFs, combine all the PDFs in one PDF. Because if you don't do it, I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to combine all the PDFs on my own and then give it to my director. But it's not just me. It's like every HR, every office cannot receive 4 PDFs. They have to receive 1 PDF per person. Then the second thing is don't send links to issuu. They're not going to open your links. You're going to like immediately be dropped down to the last person they're going to check. It's like, okay, this is like a YouTube, this is a web page. I'll open in the end of the day, you know. PDFs are always better. But yeah, in this case, we got a issuu link, and that annoyed me right in the beginning.
Like, this is a fresh perspective. I did not know that people like did not like to look at links like that, because it's an easy way to look at portfolios.
They don't open the links. No, send the PDF. They're not going to open the link, any link. Sometimes I have like links to videos, links to like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend people to make like websites or videos, because to be honest, even if people make like websites and send them for the portfolio review, I do go through them because I have to go through all of the portfolios to just see which is nice. But going through websites is, for me, just not a great experience. It does not showcase
it's fun.
Things to me in the same way a portfolio does.
Yeah, it's basically like, why would you want to make this a hassle? Make this as basic and as simple as sending a PDF to someone. And they're making already like a good favor to yourself. Don't make it a hassle. No one has time for that.
Yeah, true.
Okay, but we're going to start with a very good energy for this new portfolio on issuu. And I'm going to open full screen. Okay.
So let's quickly talk about the first impressions we have when we're looking at the portfolio.
Okay, so the first impression of this portfolio was, I really liked the portfolio, like really liked it. I liked especially the projects. It showed me a lot of control on curves and a lot of maturity as well on curves, which is not very common. And that's really good. I missed which softwares do you use? Like, so which softwares you use for these curves and for the renders? And apart from that, I think it's a really, really full package kind of portfolio. So you're showing me that you're good at designing, you're good at graphic skills, and you're also a great architect. So you're kind of feeling a little bit of all aspects for a job, and that's really good.
Yeah, and especially graphically, it's like pretty nicely done. It is, you know, it is not overwhelming in any way. It is minimal. It gives you those spaces when you need space to just see certain things. There's good use of white all around as a negative space to put focus on only things that are important. So graphically, I think it is pretty nicely done.
Yeah, 100%.
So coming to the cover page, now I would just say, you know, even though I say, again, it doesn't matter as much, but I personally did not like the cover page as much.
No,
to me, this looks very PowerPoint.
Actually, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I think there's like a cover page running on Instagram, like someone has like a similar cover page, or maybe it's hers, that is like running on my Instagram, on my Explorer page. Yeah. And you have no idea how many times I actually open it.
You did?
Which means that it's drawing my eyes to it and my attention to it, and I open it like multiple times, maybe because it's so simple and it's like this portfolio, it's so much black and white that I'm feeling very drawn to it, and I think that's good.
To me personally, it reminded me of the things that you could do in Photoshop, not Photoshop, PowerPoint, that you were also sort of limited by. So I personally, when I opened this link, I thought, okay, maybe the whole portfolio then is made in PowerPoint.
No, it didn't happen to me.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, again, it doesn't matter as much. If this is you, I think go right ahead. So for cover pages, I tell people to just be them. Like whatever feels right to them. Again, because it is not something that is really, it's not like we loved your portfolio, but we can't accept you for this job because, you know, the cover page was just not what our company is looking for. Like nobody will ever send you an email like that. All right. So let's jump in where we see the CV. So we have a full spread of the CV.
So for me, like first thing, your picture is really good. Like it's really strong. Like, I'm feeling already like empathy towards you because of your picture. And
you know, a picture is again a big debate that we have been happening on the channel.
What do you mean?
So in every guest on portfolio review episodes have chosen a site with picture or no picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then also the audience, there are debates like in the comment section that go
There's
on.
absolutely no reason for me to be interested on a portfolio with no picture. That actually tells me something about you that's not amazing. Like, what are you scared of?
Yeah, you were
like,
pretty, yeah, like, I think you had said in the last episode also, like you want to connect with the person who's made the portfolio.
100%. Like, if you're not putting the picture, of course, I'm going to look at your portfolio, but there's a little something missing if I'm not like seeing you.
Yeah.
So this picture is amazing. Like, I'm feeling empathy. I'm feeling like you're bold, and I am expecting bold projects as well, which is good.
It's
Then
done on a nice background also. Yeah.
She has already like 4 years of experience. That's very interesting.
True. And she just graduated in 2022. Oh yeah. So yeah, this is actually really great. This I think this I learned from Claudia when I sort of interviewed her. So Claudia, if you remember, was the portfolio that we reviewed, one of the portfolio that we loved completely.
Yeah, I remember Claudia. Yeah.
So Claudia had actually done a lot of work experience and internships during her her colleges, and she actually told me like she and Marek used to sort of take out time. They took a gap year so that they could do more work, and they took every opportunity they got to get more experience, which I think was a great.
Yeah. And I also really like that you have like competitions, exactly like you said, like she is doing competitions on the site.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them. Like at least 4 competitions on the same year. Well done. This is a lot of work. And then I was gonna tell, actually she did the same competition as Claudia, the tall building design competition. I'm gonna ask you to take out the architecture intern. Like, dude, you're not an intern, not with 4 years of experience, not with all of these competitions. Take architecture intern and put architect. You are a full architect 100%.
Like once you graduate, and this I think I talked about the last time I spoke to Viviano as well on the live, and he specifically said, you know, in proper terms, you are an intern when you are studying. If you have graduated, you are not technically an intern anymore. Whenever you go to a place, you are going there as for a job as an architect and not as an intern. We have the next page, which is the contents, and again minimal. We have like nice icons for everything going on.
I like this.
Yeah, it's simple.
I like this. I think we also suggested this on our last episode. So start with like icons per project, and it's like a super healthy number of projects for us to see. Like 5 projects is really enough.
Yeah, for sure.
I would just like to know, like, there's something. No, you did it, but I would probably put it in bold. Like, it's very important when you're seeing these projects, which one you did it like professionally and which was like academia, which one was competition. I would bold those because you have them there, like academic competition, academic competition. I'll have them in bold. I'm just wondering why you don't have any projects from your real experience in offices, and I'm guessing it's because they don't allow you to take some content from it.
True.
But it would be good to have it. So to be honest, find a way, because everyone does.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, a lot of people also debate about this fact that, you know, office work might not fit as well into the graphic design of your own portfolio. Definitely. Because your other projects, of course, you've done each and every aspect of it very delicately. You spend hours on it. Office work is not like that. I mean, you do spend a lot of hours on it, but at the end of the day, it won't be, you know, the exact aesthetics of what you followed in your other projects. But then it's very crucial to put those projects in to show the experience that you've gained. So going into the first project, we start with like a full page render.
This is a very good project to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, you got me 100% when you selected this project to be in the beginning. I know exactly what you're telling me. You're telling me that you're a good designer, that you know how to control your curves, that you are ambitious, that you like design and architecture. And it's just a shame that for some reasons on your, they're not renders. I think they are just like Photoshop or like your visuals. The material of this project is slightly less that pink and a little bit more, because it's like pink, right?
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more like terracotta, more a little bit yellowish or like a little bit orange. And I would probably do that because this that pink is a bit.
For this page, so you would also like in all the information that is given, you would also love if there is softwares as well given here, right?
Definitely, I'll put the softwares there, like
Yeah.
in the little corner, so I know exactly what this is.
All right.
Yeah,
So
and then apart from that, everything that we said last time. So it's a full cover page. It has a title, it has a subtitle, and it has like keywords under that. So 100% all there. And then you move to the page. There is a little bit more boring, but it's still okay because you got like this mega render.
Yeah, so like a huge render. Then we go to the second page.
Yeah, I'll just have to say on the second page, you see these diagrams that you did, you're probably like a bit ashamed of them because they are like hand or done by hand, or like, I don't know, they don't have like a lot of graphic resolution, I would say, but I would definitely scale them up. Especially there is one very cool one on the bottom on the right. That project, that actually looks cool. I think I've done a project like that at Zaha. So I would definitely scale these diagrams out. So there's a lot of white happening in this page, and these diagrams are really interesting because you're telling us this story of these blocks that are being cut, right? Perforated by these water cores and green cores. And that's like a beautiful, very poetic kind of way to explain the project. So I would have them a little bit enlarged.
Bigger. Yeah, I mean, I understand the decision graphically to make them small because, you know, it fits in well with the aesthetics, but it does not achieve the final purpose, which is communication in the best way possible. And so, yeah, it would be nice if you could find a way to enlarge it, where we can see more of the process and understanding what you've done and why you've done it.
And then moving on to the next one. This is absolutely amazing, no?
Yeah.
It's a good perspective. It's a good render.
It's a great view of the,
It's a great view. Like, this is really flattering to your project. Like, it's really attractive. It's something that looks that it could be done or is already done. And like, it's a good project, like 100%. Just probably the softwares. I'm still wondering like,
what
software are you doing? Yeah.
True. And then on the next page, then we also see two renders, and we see sections corresponding to the areas where those renders are, which is actually very well done. Those sections are also really nicely created. They're detailed. And I love this having the same render, having the sketches of the sections of the exact same thing.
I agree with you 100%. I really like this cantilever of the project, by the way. Very nice. Yeah, but I agree. Maybe if you could scale up the sections, will be a bit better so they align more or less. So for example, on this bottom section, you have like this cut of the base. It's very strong, and I would try to scale it to the point that it aligns with the render on the bottom. So they are a little bit bigger and you have a little bit less white. Like, I don't know if you were trying to be like loyal to a specific scale. I don't think that matters, to be honest. So it's better if you fill in these blanks than to be loyal to the scale.
Yeah, and especially in portfolios, like I do understand them in sheets or in final drawings that you have at offices. But like in portfolios, it's more proportion that you understand the project with, and not a 1:100 scale, let's say.
100%.
I really like this, that she's given like an exploded view of I used to do this like color code because I used to love like coloring things into a lot of, and this is the only part of multi functional things that I used to love, just color coding the entire project when we had the chance to.
She actually has a very good control of colors.
Yeah,
this is definitely, it's like my weakness. This is a very good control of colors. Like all of my diagrams showing program is usually like this explosion and circles of colors that don't match with anything.
Yeah, but I
most
mean,
likely still is.
I can totally. My professor used to tell me at one point. He was like, "Listen, next time you come to me, desaturate your drawings. Like, it's too much
I
color
can't
on your
imagine
page." But yeah, there's amazing control that is happening here.
Yeah, a lot of, but I'm not sure, like, because all the lines are white, it's kind of not letting me read the floor. So I would probably just use the black to outline the floors, just the floors, so
Yeah.
I can understand what's like going up on top of what. Next page, the very good section. There is like a curve here that kind of kills me, that if you could change on Photoshop would be great. But
which one?
it really bothers me. Like everything is so perfect, but and then you look at the steps in section. They
Yeah.
are very good steps, okay, really pretty, and all the lines are parallel except for the last one, the top one.
Yeah.
And the top one is like something that you can so easily fix on Photoshop in a second.
Yeah.
And for someone who's very trained to do curves and to understand curves, when you see that, it's like, like my OCD starts, like ringing. So I would definitely just go on Photoshop and make sure that that line is parallel. So it's like a perfect technical drawing and not like a random thing.
For sure. It's beautifully done. But yeah, after you pointed out, now I can't unsee it.
I know, but it's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, so let's come to our next project, which is the Insight Hotel. Again, we start with a render, different one. I like this collage kind of renders that people make with this
really
chunk of sky. I mean, small details like those birds, half on white, half in the sky, and how it is sort of merged together. You understand that this is actually a rendered collage. Personally, I love when people make things like this.
I agree with you. Like, I really like this collage thing. I also think that it has a time because it's been around for so long. I've never done it actually, but then for some reason everyone was doing that.
Yeah.
She masters it. Okay, you're really good at like mixing this real Photoshop with something more schematic. I think it's a very good cover page. Moving on to the project, on the page after that, where you have this lady on the bathtub.
Yeah.
But she's like on the bathtub inside of a pool.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why do you have a bathtub inside of a pool? But anyway, like this is by far too much text. And it's not just that, you could use a little bit of the directions that we gave on the last episode. Use bold, use different size use capital letters, use different sizes of letters even. So I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read it. I'm also gonna tell you something, no one's gonna read it. So if you give me something in bold, I can promise you 100% everyone's gonna read the bold word. So make sure that you kind of mix whatever you're saying with bold and capitals that are like good enough for me to understand what you are saying there without having to read it.
Like even then, for example, like in the last portfolio, when he had written the text, whatever was bold, I think was something that immediately caught your eye and you read through it and you really loved what was written.
Exactly. But then again, like for some reasons, you're putting so much white in everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I feel like a lot of white, like a lot of page to be filled. So I would also like watch out on that.
I appreciate the white. I think over time, it has just come up, I think over time, like within this past year, when I say time, it's just whenever I see.
Now that you're old.
Now that I'm a year older than that guy who you saw last year. Yeah, with age came wisdom, and I understand I personally like the white, but I understand when you were talking about the fact that you miss out on the diagrams a little bit, to not be able to see them as much or in as much detail as you could, which would be nice if you could do that. So we're going to the next page where we see a huge section. We see some plans. and we see the everything else happening in the background as well, the graphics made.
I really like this page, like the page where you have like full color, like the mega section.
Yeah.
That page is amazing. Like I like everything about this page. I like that you have the plans on the side. I really, even the project, like I really like the project that is so geometric outside, and it has a very specific like rectilinear kind of facade, and then the interior courtyard is with all of these bubbles, like little windows. I really like that part of the project. Okay, the next page is really cool. Like I don't know if she's just doing, like, if this is real renders, if this is just Photoshop, but I really like these.
This
like,
is an amazing render.
They're so cool. Like they're really cool, really nice. And the concept of having the courtyard as a separate element, like its own entity, is really like also a very good idea. And then, you know, like this detail section where you say detail, is not very detailed actually. For some reason, it looks like too under detailed, a bit amateur. So if you could add like stuff that actually shows that you are like older and experienced, I would add like dimensions, I would add like material descriptions, I would add everything that what a real construction
detail would have.
Yeah, like for example, you're giving me all of these signals. I know what is concrete. I can see that you're probably using wood because you have all of this wood structure for the floor. But is this wood? Like you should actually do this as a real construction drawing.
Yeah, it would just add, because we can see you can do great renders. We see you do great illustrations, great diagrams, and it would just add another layer if you can show that you can do great construction drawings in detail as well.
100%.
Again, we see another render from this project.
Also good, nothing to add. Again, the text is very bland. Just do like something in bold, something in capital, because I'm not reading. I didn't read a single sentence, to be honest. I don't know if you have read Rishabh. Did you read anything? You have not. No one's gonna read it, I promise you. It's just that people are lazy. Just please do something in caps, do something in bold, just for me to say if there is something that I'm missing out on this page, you know? So I'll just do that.
Going to the next project, again, we see some more renders happening.
Yeah, I think it's very important that you focus on these, like the public spaces, especially because I was wondering exactly this, like how you were handling with the public spaces on the top, because everything happens on the top of your tower. Like you have all of this entertaining space, and it's very good that you kind of kill that curiosity for us, and it told us exactly what's happening. You have like the infinity pool on the top, you have all of this like filter of the walls to the interiors, but it looks like a sauna, and you have the restaurant. So this page is really important. Almost, to be honest, I didn't read the text once again, so I would delete the text and put
just
all
make
of
it
this
bigger.
Yeah, just one page. I'm not reading the text. It's just adding like a white little part. Okay, which takes us to the next project. And I don't want to be brutal, but I may tell you that I would probably take this project down.
Discovery?
Yeah.
Okay. So why would you say that?
I don't feel that it adds up, quite the opposite. It might even give like something naive about you that you're really not, but the project is kind of giving me that feeling. Apart from page 41, so if you go to the page 41, that's giving me a little bit of your knowledge as an architect, but everything the rest, so the way you achieve form iterations, and even the side picture is giving me like, is not like how can I say, fair to the real quality that you have as an architect. So it might be a little bit misleading to your real quality. So I might rethink about this project. Also the scale, I'm not sure about the scale, like, I don't know, like page 43. If you look at the scale, I'm just not sure about the project. So I would just take it out. Okay,
so I mean, what you're saying is like what we've seen in the previous projects and the potential that she has in doing whatever she does. This does not, this might not be at par with
Yeah, I
everything
think so.
else.
When you have like a good knowledge of scale, you have a great control of curvature, and then you're doing this Frank Gehry thing of like wrapping a paper and then pulling it and calling it architecture, and I'm just not sure about the outcome.
I mean, but also, so two things, like I just want your opinion on it. One is, you know, when you have like old academic projects with your other projects that you want to put in, because you feel like, you know, so what do you do about that? And second would be, you know, you also want to show like experimentation, you also want to show like you know, that you have sort of dabbled in a bit of this, in a bit of that, in a bit of that, so
Yeah.
you also want to showcase that. What would be your take on that then?
I mean, she has already shown us like a lot of experimentation. Like the experimentation part, it's done. Like the tower covers that completely. She does experiment on form and she does experiment on spaces. But on when you're asking me about old projects, if they really reflect your quality, keep them. If they don't, then don't. Because it might be like a black spot on a perfect blank space.
So like your project should showcase the designer that you are today and not what you were like 2 years ago.
Unless there's something about before that you really want to show that you're so proud, or like something that you did that you didn't do like after, or like whatever project that you're more attached, bring it on. If it doesn't show your real quality, then just don't do it. There's no point. For example, I would prefer if she would replace this project with one that she has done inside of an office, even if it's like a super boring one. Just give me like technical boring shit, like boring plans, boring sections, very like corporate normal project from an office.
Yeah,
I would rather if you'd like take this project out and put something like that, so you can tell me like I can do a tower, I can do something that's very creative and very graphic, but I can also be like a full-on architect, as in boring CAD person.
yeah, it also shows your range.
Next project, this is very cool.
Expandable in between. I love the render here. See, this render doesn't look Lumen.
This is Photoshop.
This is, but I mean, of course, I'm sure there's another rendering software and then post-production in Photoshop.
Yeah, this is a lot of Photoshop, but it's beautiful and it's giving me peace. Yeah. And it's giving me like a place that I want to be in. So
exactly, vacation goals.
Yeah, vacation goals.
So going into the project again, we have a lot of text on the left hand side.
Okay, you know what I have to say about a lot of text. You love this amount of white.
Okay, yeah. I would say I like the white, but here I completely agree with the fact that to me, a lot of the things here have become a little unreadable, and I really want to zoom in now a lot to understand them better.
Yeah, me too. That's what
so
I'm doing.
Here, especially that white is hurting you with the fact that you want to explore honest, the project.
This is like the kind of page that everyone flips like this.
Yeah.
You're no longer than a second on this page, unless on this text you give me something that to actually read and not like a whole book page.
Yeah, like this. Yeah. I can see this as a like proper book, but again, I don't know, even when I'm reading that book, this would be like a quick nice, and then go to the next page, because again, we are much more graphical, visual beings as architects.
Okay, the next page, I really like the next page. I like the section. I like that you're showing me like all of these figures and all of these like activities that are very nice. So it gives me like a bit of program. I like the colors. You're very good at the color scheme. And also like, I don't feel like you should enlarge your plans. They are good enough, like at the right scale.
And then on the, I like the exploded view on the next page. Yeah.
Me too. I like the exploded. It's definitely missing some hierarchies of thicknesses.
I was about to say that. The line weights are not as great as they can be. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just like outline the mega pieces with a thicker line, and just for making it a little bit easier to read. But apart from that, I really like this exploded diagram.
And the renders. Beautiful.
in the renders as well. It looks like it's already built.
Yeah, and it looks so peaceful. Like
Yeah. It looks like something that you could do. Like you can actually get it built. Like even like next page.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like something that you could have already done. You can even smell it. It smells like IKEA. And that's it. And then it stops.
And then we come to the PowerPoint end page.
Yeah. PowerPoint.
All right. So what would be your overall advice for this portfolio?
Overall is like I really like the portfolio. I think it has a lot of potential. I wouldn't mind having 1 or 2 pages of boring technical things just to make sure that you know technical drawings, you know how to do like plans with more detail, and you know how to do, you have sections already like really good, but I wouldn't mind having something a little bit more boring that shows me those 4 years of experience that you have. I think that's really important.
True. All right. So before we go to our last portfolio for the day, let's look at another question. What changes in your portfolio as you move from an academic to now, let's say a portfolio after you've worked for a while, after you've become a full-fledged architect, after you're looking for a job? Because I know you're also, one of the things that I've seen is, you know, in academic work you put a lot of work in, and then it becomes much more you filter out more things, and you put less number of projects but more number of details when you're
Yeah.
After the process is done, after you are at the job. So what do you think are the differences in these two portfolios?
I think it's okay, and it's kind of expected to have this mega difference between academic and graphic content to something that is a bit more like corporate and a little bit more detailed as well. So I'm not bothered by it. I'm even expecting, like, for example, if you give me a portfolio that is too academic, I might be a little bit like unsure unless you're coming as an assistant. But if you're mixing with this very boring technical stuff, I'm like, I'm comfortable. Like if I need you to do technicals, you know how to do it. So I don't know. I think it's easy.
Also, after working for a few years, would you still go back to the academic projects to sort of put into, like let's say if you were to put in your portfolio, would you like go back to academic projects? Would you put in newer projects?
I'm gonna be honest. Like I never had a portfolio because I really don't like portfolios. But apart from that, I grabbed what represented me the most, which was my final master thesis in Portugal and my final master thesis in London. So I just basically grabbed something that's gonna show me as an architect and as a creative, and it's gonna show you all of my skills. So probably from academic, I would keep the same. I'll keep my last final project, and that's the only thing I did.
But like, if you were to make a portfolio today, would academic even be a part of that portfolio, or would you just show?
All. Yeah, I never kept it. No, I never kept it before. I'm not gonna keep it now.
Yeah, because you evolve as much as because I remember, even though they're both academic, I remember my friend before applying to SciArc and after applying to SciArc, it was like whatever he had done before SciArc, all of that just vanished. It was a brand new portfolio because you've now it's like, again, you've leveled up. You showcase what you can do now.
I think that's really important. Like, you're not giving me the story of how you grew. Like, just show me your little parts of you, like at its finest.
Yeah, it, like I tell people, like, nobody wants to see your growth. People want to see your skills.
It's not about that.
It showcase yourself. You can tell the story later. Like yeah. All right, so let's come to our third portfolio for the day. I call this the Zaha portfolio personally. And I think we would understand that as we sort of go inside why I call it the Zaha portfolio. What is the name of the person?
Human Head.
There's another.
He decided to be called Herman.
Yeah. So yeah.
His English name is Herman.
Perfect. So like, what are your thoughts? Like, quickly glancing through the portfolio.
Okay, my thoughts are very good skills, very good graphic skills. Probably a little bit too much in relation to how much you can do technical content, because you're still an architect. And in the end, again, I just flick it through, and what I have in my memory is your paintings, and I'm not sure if that's the best memory to have, although they are absolutely amazing. I
Yeah.
also want to know that I am adding to my office a full-on architect.
Yeah, like especially looking at like there's not as much details or properly drawn out plans,
Yeah.
sections, construction drawings. It's more conceptual in nature.
Yeah.
Like this is a great portfolio if you're designing for the metaverse, because you don't
For
need
example,
to.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or if you're just doing like paintings and, I don't know, exhibiting the painting somewhere.
Yeah. All right. So going into, so the cover page, I felt it's nice, it's simple. I love the grid and the red.
Okay. I'm not in love with square grids. Actually, I hate square grids. They remind me of toilets, but they
now,
always,
now that
so
you said it, it feels like tiles to
it
me.
always reminds me of toilets. But again, it's okay. It's an okay cover, yeah. If you could like make this grid a little bit more transparent, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's like inlaid, but it's not that obvious.
But I would just say this cover would not, like my mind would not connect what's inside to this cover.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Maybe that's a good thing also, because it's like suspense a little bit.
Yeah.
So we go to we open the second and third page.
Okay.
I would just say what you've done on the left hand side of the second page with this red, I don't particularly like
No.
as much, because again, it just needs to be clean. It just needs to be very, like the other two, we saw the index that was very, very neat and clean and very basic.
Yeah.
But I don't actually enjoy the visuals in between as much.
I think that first of all, you should be printing in a single page and not as a spread. Okay, because right now in my computer, you have your portfolio, and then I have this mega bar, and then under another mega bar, and your portfolio is reduced to this.
Yeah.
And I promise you, I'm not gonna zoom in. No one's gonna zoom in. So I'm gonna keep saying it like super landscape with all of these bars that you're not covering. So don't print as a spread, and print as a single page, okay?
This I think is the default on issue. It just does that to all portfolios.
No, for example, the other girl, she had it like single spreads. It was feeling like the whole screen.
Yeah, the size that she had chosen was perfectly
for issue. Yeah.
But then you would also say not to do it on issue at all.
Yeah, you either do that on issue, like you fill all of your screen, or you just print your PDF as single spreads.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what you said about the red, I don't know why you did that.
Yeah.
I would take that out. Again, I could use a photo.
Yeah, true. We don't.
Whatever photo, like the face that you have for the last 25 years, whatever photo you have, it would be super human to give me.
The CV, I would just say it can be better in making it. Yeah, it can be better in making it just more simplistic and more spread out.
Yeah.
You could also, I mean, I don't know how do you want to play with, do away with the red, see how you want to restructure this, if you want to move index, if you even want to move it to someplace else. But this, in my personal opinion, requires a little bit of restructuring, so to just make it a little more minimal.
Yeah, like for example, like I'm gonna be honest, I'll completely do your index totally different, like completely different. Like your skills are so tiny, and you're giving me like your portfolio is extremely design driven and really good on that. But then you're giving me like these tiny lines of which softwares you do. So I'm like trying to read which softwares is he doing. He knows Grasshopper, so completely like rearrange this in a completely different way. Give me design like with what's your level on each software. That's really useful, especially because you are a designer. Like you are a designer, so you need to give me your levels on each software. That's really important. And then you give me this chronological thing that is not as important as your design skills. You can keep them, but again, like maybe all of this red that you have on the right, put your chronological skills there, and all of this red space, you can just kill it totally.
Yeah. So let's dive right into the first project.
Yeah.
But by the way, just quickly going back to the portfolio, here we now have 8 different projects, and then we have extra design work, which just to start off with, I would just say is too many.
Yeah, so
yeah, like it should, your portfolio, like I usually tell people nowadays it's between 4 to 6. Keep the projects between those. Yeah, that would be like a better number.
I agree.
So the first project is X Plus School of Cooking.
I mean, the paintings are absolutely amazing. Like there's no doubt, like this painting, but then again, because it's so small right now, if this was like filling my whole screen,
yeah,
the impact would be 2 times bigger.
And
right now it's like this on my screen. It's like a tiny.
This painting right here, like the central one on the right hand side.
Yeah.
So this painting to me is why I'm calling this portfolio like a Zaha portfolio. I know. Because this legit properly reminds me of the paintings that she used to make. I remember, you know, because for one of my videos, I was looking at a lot of her paintings. And it is a pretty similar style of just painting things.
Yeah, I know. I know you picked it. I know you picked the portfolio because of this.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, because this really caught my eye. I love how I love how she also used to just use those paintings to demonstrate what her project was in a very abstract way.
Yeah, but in this case, like you really don't understand what the project is.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just graphically, it looks nice.
Yeah, graphically it looks amazing. Like next page is the same. Like graphic skills are really on point. I can't even fathom like how you did them. Is this like in any way a render? Is this completely Photoshop? Is this like another whatever software you're not mentioning? It would be good to mention that. It's good that he's like doing the bolds and like highlighting the main important words of the text.
Yeah.
Like energy, dynamism, fragmentation, like he's doing that like spot on. That's amazing. But I really don't know what the project is, apart from being amazing pieces of, I don't know, NFTs that I would buy.
Yeah, these would be great NFTs.
Yeah, these would be great NFTs and sell them as collectibles.
Yeah, for sure. Instagram is, by the way, launching like an NFT thing.
Yeah,
and I know how successful
really telling me like how the project looks like and what is it about, like the program, or this is more like an artistic thing.
Exactly. This is not as, again, this is going back to the language that architects usually speak in, and which is visual diagrammatic. This does not adhere to that, and so it is not as easy to completely gauge you know, what is happening.
Is this related to the next project, or is this like a completely different project? On the next page, 8 and 9, it has no title.
I think this is the same project.
Okay, so you're giving us a little bit of plans and shape. That's good.
Yeah, like on the left hand side, this is, I think, a circulation concept of how people would move within the building.
So again, it's a very cool diagram.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this section is amazing, but right now on my screen, this section is probably filling 1/20th. This section right now is like this on my screen. Am I zooming in? Yeah. Probably. I'm zooming in. It's a very cool section. Okay, the section is really cool. So why are you giving us like an issue website link. So we have like your portfolio like so tiny on my screen.
I would just say for the section, again, this is again going back to if you want to make it proper architectural. To me right now, the background is a little too distracting and taking me away from what is inside the building, which works well graphically, which works well within how he's doing everything else, but it does not work as well into properly architectural representation, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me, but this is definitely not a technical drawing, right?
Yeah, that is the thing. This portfolio doesn't really have.
Yeah, the portfolio doesn't have that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's doing it on purpose. Maybe he's really in for the graphic designer thing.
Yeah.
But I can promise you 100%, like these plans here are really cool. But I can almost promise you that no office is submitting plans like this anymore.
So, but I would ask you one thing. So let's say when somebody is applying for your cluster, which is the competition cluster, in my mind, I'm thinking you work majoritarily on the design and conceptual stage. And then when it actually comes to building it, it might be some other clusters completely detailing things out.
No.
Like you do.
No, if the project is handed to our cluster, we deal with the project till the very end.
Oh, like till
we
its
have
construction.
a team, yeah, but we have a team from another cluster that is doing the drawings, the 2Ds, the sections.
Yeah.
And barely 3Ds. I mean, it depends on the cases. There's a lot of projects happening. But most of the cases, I do the Maya, I do the rhinos, and I do until the last phases. So right now I'm doing Tower C for Shenzhen for the last year and something. And I'm actually doing detailed design, like to the real detail.
Yeah.
From that cluster. So.
Okay.
But even in my cluster, which is the most artistic, I would say, we would never do plans like this. They are still like AutoCAD, black and white. They are meant for your clients to understand. They are meant to be submitted on the municipal. So it's not as artistic as this because there's no reason for it to be. Yeah,
true. And also I would just add, because this reminded me when you said the word clients, is the fact that I remember Narendra Sagu, who's in Foster Plus Partners.
Yeah.
His whole department is about visual design and communication through that visual design. And nice. So his work is about creating things in a way that it can be communicated to the clients. This style is very, very different, but I think something similar, if there is in a firm, would work amazingly if you want to go in that direction, where you work a lot on how that design is communicated visually at the end of the day. Because the
next page is absolutely overwhelming.
Yeah.
This is really cool, like really. I really hope you're gonna make some money out of this on NFT or something like this.
I was just about to say, like these are great NFTs.
As like a package, like I'll buy them.
Yeah, like drop a collection.
They're like pieces of art. Yeah, they're like collections. They are pieces of art. Like you are making like this this selection very narrow. You know, like the offices that will hire you, you're obviously almost on purpose kind of narrowing how many offices will hire you, because it's a lot of graphic skills and not all offices are so, you know, interested, or they want to invest so much time on so much graphics. But obviously there are offices that really appreciate on this graphic intensity. So, but then again, it's like from 10 offices, you're kind of picking 4, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, the sense I'm getting, and correct me if I'm wrong here, like if this comes to your table to sort of look at, you would appreciate the stuff that he's created, but not necessarily look to hire him, because you don't see as much like you don't see it as a completely architectural portfolio. It is a great
you don't see it as that.
Yeah,
it's so, like an in-between.
Yeah, true.
But they're like nice pieces of art to have on the wall, for example.
And then we come to the next page. And I think here is finally when I understand the project. Like the first page, I understood the render. And here is when I finally understand that project again.
Totally. I think this is the most architectural page that you have right here.
Yeah.
On the whole portfolio. It's like you're giving me an auditorium, you're giving me like human scale, you're giving me patterns for lights, you're giving me stairs and steps, and you're also giving me a profile from the street. So this is definitely the most architectural page that you have. So if you could like kind of replicate this along the portfolio, would be great.
Yeah, like the compositions here are more tangible to understand of what they are. Yeah.
And it's outstanding, this auditorium, I have to say.
Yeah, for sure. Then we go on to the next page where we have more renders. Graphically, I don't like it as much, just the page.
Yeah, we can move on to the next one, that is page 16.
Yeah, the Northwest residence.
Yeah, the Northwest residence, like you picked a render here that is very wobbly. It doesn't show a lot of control on the curves, and it shows like too much mullions, and the glass is not rendered really nice. And then you have a perfect render of this in the end. I think it's the same tower, right? Like right in the end, I'll tell you the page. Yeah, there. This should be your cover. Page number 32. Page number 32 is your cover. Like this explains me the project. This is well rendered. This shows me like a super good control on curves and glass. Like this is definitely the cover. The first one is probably your worst render of the tower, which is funny why you made it like.
Yeah, like this would be a much better starting off point for your project. Yeah, true.
Agree. And I really like this project, by the way.
So I mean, we come to the page number 17. So I think it starts off in a similar way, where again there are certain diagrams that you can read through, but again it's more conceptual in nature for now. With the graphics going. Yeah. We come to page 18, 19. We go again into a more abstract form of again exploration through painting.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Skills, like there's nothing to add to this. Like it's great that you have this ability and this flexibility of mind and creativity. The paintings are absolutely amazing as well.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, you are obviously recalling a lot of Zaha, and I think everyone will know that, by the way.
Yeah. But I would also just say, like, when you're going through these paintings, but are you gauging anything about the project? I'm looking at that as amazing paintings.
Yeah, they're not telling me anything about the project. If something, they're confusing me the project.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if we again read through the entire text that you've written, all 3 paragraphs that are spread out on these 2-page spread, maybe we'll understand a little bit better. But just diagrammatically at this moment in time, they don't tell us anything about the project. They're just beautiful things to look at. So again, left hand side is an exploration through painting. Again, there are maybe hints that I can figure out, maybe, but the vertical urbanism is where I am now starting to connect. Like on that particular part is now I'm starting to connect with what he's actually doing.
I mean, I'll say something that's probably a little bit brutally honest, but the left page is from the 60s. The right page is from the 2000s. So kind of give me a bit of balance of how much 60s you're giving me, because Zaha did it, but she did it so much. And she did it like so long time ago.
So long ago, yeah.
Such a long time ago. We all know it. We've all seen it.
Zaha did them in the 80s, the 90s, as I know. 70s is when she was 60s, at the AA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like they're very old, and then you give me something a bit more contemporary, which is like exactly the same way that the towers, the Zaha towers were being like exposed on the Biennale of Venezia some 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And that's a bit more contemporary. Like I prefer to see that. Yeah. Like this hierarchy of towers, that's great. Okay, like giving me some iterations. But then the paintings, they also have a limit. Like you're really good at them, but also pick them. I'm not sure about the painting amount on the left if it's super necessary.
Yeah. And then going to the next page.
I think I prefer the next page. Like I like this section is nice.
Yeah.
I prefer the pages where he's showing some plans. He's showing me a little bit of plans, a little bit of architecture as well,
Yeah.
which is nice. But then again, you're so intense on your graphic skills.
The graphics is taking up away from the architectural language of it.
Yeah, but if you could be showing me that you're not an architect only, you're also a designer, but that means you'll be showing me design, but you're not showing that. What you're showing us is like, I have really good graphic skills. You're not telling me I have really good design skills and I don't have really good architecture skills, like technical architecture skills. You're giving me, I have very good graphic skills. And for that, I don't know if you want to be part of the archivist part of architecture, or the as a visualizer, and not like as a designer, which is okay. Like, you just need to understand where you want to fit.
Yeah, because your talents do lie there a lot. Now that you pointed out, I also do not enjoy the render on the left hand side as much.
Yeah, this render from the top is not your best one, because it's showing that your glass is very metal, so it's too reflective, and also the mullions have different thicknesses, or some are popping out, some are popping in, but it's very rare to have like a good render from the top view down. Yeah. Okay, it's very rare. It's like not the best flattering perspective for a tower. Definitely the most flattering one is the one that you have it completely like vertical to the plane. So the one on your right is the best one.
Yeah.
And then the shots for the interiors are nice. I mean, the everything that's related to like auditoriums, they're really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, auditoriums are nice. I like these pages.
True. These are spaces that you really enjoy. These are tangible. You can understand them very nicely. Yeah, and I like that you have like these renders on page 30 and 31. You have like a blue and a red. Yeah. And it's exactly the same perspective, the same camera. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. I really like to see that. And again, it would be really good to know how you render this. Is this a software? Like, what are your skills on the softwares, or did you use like mostly Photoshop? That's very important for an office to kind of understand like your limits, your limitations, and your skills on softwares. True. I just think wait, the render on page 30, the girl dancing in blue. Yeah. Is that a reflection that goes down, or I just think he's forgotten to put in a reflection there, because I see a shadow. Yeah. And to me, it just felt like she's dancing on a cutout for a second. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. It feels like she's floating. Yeah. You need to like mirror. And then I saw the next one and I realized, no, it's actually, it's flow. And this one is also reflecting. It's just not reflecting her. Yeah, I think you forgot the reflection. And then we have the final render, which should have been the first image that we saw. Which should have been the cover, yeah. But because, then on the next one, I was saying that it's very good that it's good that he's showing us something more neutral, especially when we are coming from something so technological and so out of there and so blue and so techno. When you give us something more neutral, it's kind of like a piece. Yeah, I would just say on page, like it's the render is great, and then we get into the details of how it is made, and this thing on the right hand side bottom gets a little, I would say it's a tad bit graphic heavy, but then when we go to the next page, I would just say this is a little too much because of the image in the background. Which one? Page number 46. Yeah. Like, I actually like this section. I mean, it's nicely detailed out, but like graphically, I don't enjoy it as much because of the background image that is going on. Like, if this would just have been an illustrative perspective sketch, like a section, a little bit. Okay, with no Photoshop. Yeah, it would have been so much neater and easier to understand. Actually, I like it, and I'll keep it exactly like it is, to be honest. I really like this one. I'm not sure about the
exploded diagram on the right. Why do you have so many layers, and why do I need to know that you have so many layers? Unless there's something very special about it, it's like a lot of roof levels. But the section, I really like the section. Again, it's like giving me a lot of artistic vibes.
But I think this might just go down to having a personal choice.
Yeah, I think it's personal choice.
And then
Okay,
we have a plan finally, but then I would just say now finally when we have a plan, it's just too big because there's not a lot in the, like if you give me half the size of this, it still works. In me just reading the plan.
Yeah.
We see some
are really cool.
Yeah.
Do you see the difference of these renders? Like the renders you're doing of the house. And then if you go back and if you look at the plan, there's like a mega difference on maturity, on interest. So I think that it would be interesting if you could consider the archivist parts, skills that you have for a professional life. Because like the plans are really lacking, and then you see this passion on the renders, and you see this attention to detail and like this balance, and these renders are absolutely professional renders.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Maybe consider that. By far, there are a couple of projects in this portfolio that you can actually remove because they're
also too many.
Anything. Yeah, you have so many projects that they're not adding, and I'm just being honest. They're not giving me more of your personality or less, more or less skills. They're basically on the same level. So I'll just take it out. And then also probably the biophilic Manchester.
Yeah.
There's no need. It's like 2 pages as well. Yeah, for example, the next project in Hong Kong, the G2, I'll definitely keep this project. This is a project for an office, 100%.
Yes.
It's a normal architectural scale. A lot of people do this kind of scale of, I don't know if it's a cultural landmark. It could be a restaurant as well. So this is the kind of project I would keep. And I would also like probably include a couple of plans if you have them.
Yeah, because here we see more, we see sections inside. We see more diagrams inside explaining the project.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you go to the page 62 and 63, like you see the section, you see the scale, you also have a model. Apparently you did like a physical model, which is really cool. So it's more palpable as well, it's more architecture. But exactly like Rishabh said, if you are applying for an archivist kind of portfolio, you don't need to have all of this architectural information, okay? I'm just curating this for architecture. And then the next page.
Yeah.
This page is like a crazy page. 65 and 64.
60, yeah.
Again, you're really like emphasizing on your graphics like a lot. Like it's impossible for you to have a normal plan. You just can't. You're like, you have 3 opportunities of having a normal black and white plan, or like plan with lines, and you're like colors and then shadows and then make it intense, and they become actual art pieces. Yeah, they're like art pieces, but that distracts people from understanding the plan.
For sure.
And then these exhibition pieces are amazing. You created your own exhibitions piece? I think so, no? Exhibition piece there on the right.
It's like might be.
It might be, because that's who you are. You are like an artist.
Yeah, for sure.
Extra design work is something that I would take out as well. There's no need. Again, photo booth. Unless you are doing archivists, 100%.
Then do use them. Nice.
Then keep this. We've come to the end. It's like 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours.
I was prepared. I think I knew this would go on for 2 hours. I think I was mentally prepared for that.
Jesus.
Okay, so your overall advice for this portfolio?
Overall advice. Graphics are really good. You're giving me some graphics from the 60s and graphics from today. Like some of the renders are like from 2022. 100%. They're like today's trend. Especially some of the renders are actually like a trend of a couple of people on Instagram that are actually rendering exactly like that, and that's perfect. And then sometimes you're giving me these paintings from very, very long time ago. Like you need a bit of balance, because I am not in love with the paintings from a long time ago, unless you're doing archivists or unless you're selling them as NFTs. I don't love nostalgia on portfolios, and I like to see something more futuristic or something that gives me a hint of what I could do in the future. And you're giving me a lot of past, although you're amazing at it, to be honest. But that's my personal opinion. And then it's very important to understand to which office you are applying to. Is this architecture? Is this graphic designer? Or are you applying as an archivist? You're saying, I render. I'm the one who renders. I am the one who does post-production. And this is how you are kind of claiming yourself and coming to an interview as that. Or you could even be sending your portfolio to other companies that are not architectural companies, that are really archivist companies.
Yeah, I would really recommend sort of looking into that if you've not been thinking in that direction, to really do think in that, because you're really talented.
Yeah.
So and in that case, you can just change your portfolios to not like whatever architectural parts even you have, they are not even as necessary. If you're just looking for archivists, because then I want to be looking at your renders. I want to be looking at the materials that you put in, the quality of your final pieces that have come out, and not maybe as much as the design of the building that has gone, that you're actually rendering.
Yeah, but by far you're like crazy talent.
Very. I would just say whatever you do in life, do sell things as NFTs. Make a lot of money. You deserve it.
They poop. Any shit you do, just sell it as NFTs. You never know. They're like crazy people like buying the worst NFTs ever. So and whatever you do,
people buy anything, and this is good stuff.
Yeah, like the renders he gave us, like they're at least like you do like 3 versions of each. Sell them, please. Sell them good.
Yeah.
Or send me and I sell them.
Yeah, and that brings us to the end of our third portfolio. We've been officially doing it for 2 hours 17 minutes.
Do you have any questions? Do you have more questions to answer?
Let's see if we can do one final question. So this is, I think this person, and it might be just specific to this person or the people of Portugal, but I think this we talked about in our very first interview that we did, is this person says how to survive architectural school in Portugal with all the narrow-minded, and then it went into ... But I think this is something that you talked about in the first ever interview that we did, that you what your professors expected and what you were taught in school was very different, and you really wanted to break away from that.
Yeah, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be very honest. Like you have two options. You either fight them with your own convictions, and that's gonna take a lot of energy for you, and you can stay in Portugal forever and forever fight them, or you move countries and you stop fighting them, which is exactly what I did. And you kind of save your batteries to another fight. There are other fights happening right now that is not related to the past, is not related to nostalgia, is not related to 90 degrees, is not related to old construction methods. There are other topics on the world happening right now, and you're not looking at them because you are so stuck in this Portuguese kind of mindset of these universities. Yeah. So you either decide, I'm going to fight them and I'm going to change this, and I'm going to stay in this country and change this, and you're going to be very tired in the next 5 years. I was very tired. And in the next 10 years as well. And then in the next 20 years, you're going to say what most of the architects in Portugal tell me, which is, if I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have picked architecture, which is really sad to hear. But that means that they stayed and they stayed fighting. They really regret being architects. That's very sad. But you either pick that, or you move on, you change countries, and you're going to fight completely different battles that are in sync with your ideas. It's not like you're going to a field of flowers after you.
Yeah, there are always battles wherever you go, for sure.
Yeah, there are always battles. And there are a lot of other things happening right now. Just if you want to pick another battle, just go and pick like a different battle and something that is not so strictly tied to the past and to nostalgia and to things that are not as important anymore.
For sure. Yeah, all right. And that was our final question for the day.
Yay!
Thank you so much, Mariana. Thank you for taking out the time. It's always a pleasure having you. People on my channel love you.
It's like midnight for you, no? Or like 1 a.m.
It is 1:20.
Oh my God.
But nowadays I don't know why my sleep cycle is, I just
I'm
sleep
so
really
sorry.
late.
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me and for staying, and also for taking the time to help them and to go through all of these portfolios with so much patience at 1 a.m. It shows a lot of commitment, and I really appreciate that.
And that was it, you guys. That was the 6th portfolio review episode with Mariana. Let me know your thoughts on this episode and our conversation in the comments below. Also, if you like what I do here, you can support the channel via Patreon or via channel memberships. The details for both of them are in the description below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, to share this video, and to subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys soon with more such content. Until then, bye-bye.